Okay. Do you want me to start? I guess so. Or do you
Yeah,
want
that's great. Okay, so you guys, we had kind of a meeting of the masterminds. Well, actually, we had several different um, sessions. One was a kickoff when we were in Seattle with Diamonds and Alec and Tarl. It was fantastic. We got the rundown of the next product launches and their vision and just different things, which was fantastic. And then we had a meeting with all jewels and diamonds on Wednesday. And then right after that was, Melody and Angie and I were catching lunch. And then we like literally ran into Jessica and we are like, hey, you want to come with us for lunch? And she's like, sure, I don't have any plans. This is perfect. So we had a wonderful lunchtime, chatting through, kind of just doing a debrief. And Jessica and I had already talked about her taking this Ruby call before we even left. And so, anyways, I was thinking, wow, it'd be really great for you guys to just hear some of the things that we chatted through, some of the things that Christina Williams taught from the Jewel session on the ship. I just feel like it was such a fruitful, wonderful training and conversation at lunch afterwards. So I want you guys to be in with all the scoops and the things that we talked about. I'm probably not going to be able to stay on for real long, so you guys will just be able to have a sesh with Jess. So Jessica, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hi, guys. Always love hanging out with you guys. Okay, I got some interaction to do. I'm going to give you some recap and we're going to talk about some things. But first, I want to hear in the comments, how would your life be more painful right now if Plexus had not entered it? To just think for a moment and share. There's so much power in our testimonies. How would your life be more painful right now if Plexus had not entered your life? Share that. Let me pull up the chat. So our time together was amazing. I hope you got a chance. And if you didn't, I'm really just want to really, oh, sorry. I really want to encourage you guys to listen to the podcast I sent in there in y'all's thread. And let me tell you why. It is all, well, first of all, I've never listened to a more anointed podcast in my entire life. What does that mean? What does that mean? The word anointed? To me, it means so much truth. Like revelation after revelation after revelation. And she even tells a funny story. Like there's a point in there when someone is anointed, they could just say the name peanut. Like if they were a minister and they were anointed, they could just literally just say the word peanut butter and people would run to the aisles to ask what they must do to be saved, because it has nothing to do with the person or what they're actually saying, but has to do with an anointing on their life. And so that's why I've had people message me and say, I've never listened to a podcast that had more truth before in my life. And so I want to talk about this, how it can apply to your Plexus business, but that podcast is not about Plexus. It wasn't about business, but it was about a skill and a tool that will help you be victorious in all areas of your life. So I kind of want to cover that, but I want you guys to keep putting in the comments. What would your life be like? How would your life be more painful if Plexus had not entered it? We're going to go to that in just a second, but let me talk about the podcast and the book for a moment. Okay, so we have all heard, take your thoughts captive, make them obedient to Christ. It's actually a big pillar of what I teach and my life coaching and all those things. But this helped me have like a scale to understand if everything about Jesus is victorious, triumphant, then it helped me be able to see what were my thoughts about my business, especially in light of what happened on the cruise, and what thoughts am I having that are hopeless, or which thoughts am I having that are victorious, and how both of those, um it's a choice, and you can have both of those on purpose, or we're going to default to the old one. So anyways, I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But okay, let me read some of these things now. How would your life be more painful right now if Plexus had not entered it? Okay, Laura said I would have pure exhaustion. I would be heavy. I'm not sure how we could have vacation to all these fabulous places. That's right. Becky would have felt achy in my joints and tummy issues are on my top. I would be riddled. I mean, Amber, I would be riddled with physical pain, but also the guilt of not being able to be present with my kids. I was already sidelined because of my health and mood. It would have been so much worse. On a deeper level, I have grown so much personally and spiritually. It's crazy. I would be struggling internally. Yes, Lord. Lisa, physically horrible, hopeless in some ways, would have less value and less confidence. Laura, less significant, or would be also significant discomfort and zero knowledge of how important water is in my daily poops. And let's chat about platform and how empowering it is to help people. And seemingly my career does that, but it doesn't. Brooke would have not be thriving, would not be fully present with my kids, and would be feeling blah and wouldn't have the community she has now. And that would be painful. Jacqueline said, I would not have grown personally as much as I have. So beautiful. It's so important for us to remember where we started from. That's where I want to start it today. Like, remember where we came from. And I really want to empower each of you to make a post today about your beginning story, where you used to be, how painful your life was before Plexus, sharing that testimony and that story, going back to the roots of why it all began, why you started in the first place. So, anyways, on the cruise, have you guys done a cruise recap with Megan yet? Or can I give you a little bit of like Helen and Sonia? Okay, so Helen and Sonia, there's one training day. The cruise was phenomenal. We brought our kids. It was so relaxing. It was 7 full nights, 8 days. It just was so many things. But we had 1 3-hour training session, and the first one was Helen and Sonia. And if you're not familiar, they are some of the very first diamonds Plexus ever had. And they've been with Plexus for about 16 years. They're both almost 60, I believe. They're like 58-ish probably. And that they used to be with Mary, they didn't say the name, but I know the name. They used to be with Mary Kay. And so they were sharing all the story. They've been friends for 30 or 40 years. They showed stories of their big hair and clothes that were so different 30 years ago. So fun. But one thing that was really fascinating is they said they worked there for 16 years. They actually were at Cadillac level for many years, the pink Cadillac level. They had to take out loans in order to buy enough inventory to keep that pink Cadillac level. And they said in 16 years, they never earned a trip with their company. 16 years, Cadillac level. Only, I guess, the top, whatever had trips. They also, this is what they said, they had never met or seen the executive team in person. They were never got a picture with them. They were never present at any receptions. They were never accessible at convention. They were never among the people. You never could just go to corporate and meet them. You could never go to corporate and sit down and talk to them. Like, it was just like, what? And to think like a brand new person in Plexus, and within 1 year, they said they had 4 free trips in their first full year. Like they went to convention, they had earned leaders retreat, they earned the Silver Stars trip, and they had earned Emerald Extravaganza. 4 free trips. So 16 years. So it was just like really encouraging to hear the difference in the culture of Plexus, how Alec and Tarl are present, they're available, they want to know the people love them. So that was just really, really encouraging. And then Christina Williams spoke, and it was so profound, and I loved it. And I want to give you guys a couple of the questions that she really had us ponder, because it was really, really breakthrough. And I, being a life coach, like, I just love helping people actually be aware of some of their thoughts. So I want to ask you this question, and the more honest you can be, the better. What is your repeating thought that's been holding you back in your business in the last 6 months? I'll say it again. I want you guys to literally journal about this, write it down. Love for you to share in the comments if you want to. We can discuss or chat, but I definitely want you at least to have that written down and be aware of what that is. So that may take you a moment. You may know instantly. You probably know instantly, and you may not like what that thought is, but you probably have, it's come up, is what is the repeating thought that's been, because okay, feelings aren't facts. Okay, so you may be feeling a certain way towards your Plexus business, but we feel a certain way because of a thought that we have. Okay, so I want to really help you be aware that what actually is the thought that's been causing an uncomfortable. You may have not. Your business may be awesome, and you may be a great mindset, and you may be moving forward, and that's case in point, if your thoughts are good, you're moving forward. But if for some reason you're not, let's pause here for a moment and be aware of what is the repeating thought that's been holding you back in your business in the last 6 months. And so she had everybody take a few moments and answer that question. So good. So busy. Okay, so many people are putting them in the comments. Kristen says, I am so busy. What am I thinking doing this? I bite off more than I can chew. That's total. Love your honesty. Laura said, even if I could make emerald, what if I can't retain it? So good. Thank you for your honesty. There's no judgment around any of these thoughts. Okay, that's another amazing skill I want to teach you. What if you didn't judge the thoughts that you had? Okay, we're so quick to be like, oh, I shouldn't think that, or oh, I shouldn't do that, or but it's there. And it probably, you actually will be able to move past it sooner the more honest that you are about it. So these are so great. If you did, and then what she had us do is she made us share with the people we were sitting next to actually what our thought was. And so it couldn't just be this hidden thing of like, okay, I'm gonna write down what my fear is and I don't want anybody else to know. There was so much beauty in actually sharing what that fear was. And it was really, really neat to see that almost everybody actually had a different fear. We think everybody has the same fear as us, or no, or it just was really, really interesting that everybody had one. And it was so connecting to actually bring them to light. Okay, so let me read some more. Amber said, I was wrestling with this today when I listened to the podcast, and the very answer hit me. Perfect timing to listen to the podcast today. I won't be able to sweep this Leaders Retreat contest this year because I'm not new anymore. So good to notice that thought. Brooke said, I feel like I have been in a pit of thought mindset and I can't climb my way out, like more of a paralyzing feeling. Okay, so I'm paralyzed. I'm stuck. I can't get out of this. So good. And then the second part of that question was, how does it make you feel? This thought that is present, whether you were aware of it until just now or not, how has it made you feel? I would love to hear you guys share that. Um, so I want you to notice how it made you feel. And Melody and Megan, if you want to even share a breakthrough that you had and being aware of your thoughts on the cruise and what it even has already changed subtly or majorly since then, that would be really helpful.
I just think there's a lot of beauty in being vulnerable and honest because a lot of times if you can just verbalize the thought that you're having with a trusted friend or a group of friends, because actually Tamara came over to our lunch table too and ended up we're all sharing. And I just think a lot of times the thought even can lose its power with us just like letting it come out of our brain and our mouth. And then you can kind of hold it and be like, well, do I agree with that? And like, is that helping me produce what I'm wanting to create? So just a little mention there too.
So good. And as believers, okay, why I love this podcast and why I love this book, because I'm like, oh, this is going to equip people to have strongholds that are victorious. Okay, because it's easy to have a stronghold of defeat, hopelessness, I'm alone, I'm stuck. That is so easy to have, and those actually are strongholds. And I never had thought of the concept of building strongholds that are victorious. And I believe so much of this goes back to our true identity, which I wrote this down and I want to find where I wrote it. Like, what is your identity around plexus? Okay. To remembering where we started, remembering why we started. If your identity is to help people, that inspires different actions. If your identity is to be a pioneer, if your identity is to be a teacher and educate, if your identity is to serve others, like who are you? Who has God said that you are? Because when we operate of who God has called us to be, then it becomes more effortless because we're not trying to rub or force or have this thought that is actually a lie from the enemy. Because I want you to understand, when you think, oh, I'll never be able to earn Leaders Retreat, oh, I'll grow, but I'll lose it. Oh, like There's no judge. Like, notice when you have those thoughts, how it makes you smaller. It literally produces actions that make you hide or avoid or not even try or live in shame or live in secret. Or you see, like my physical body, I don't even notice that I'm doing that. I just like when I literally talk about those words, it makes me smaller. But when we think of things as hopeful and triumphant, we open up, we become louder, not in an annoying way, but in a powerful way, in a way of authority, in a way of knowing who we are and what our purpose is in this world. When we are reminded of the truth of victorious thoughts around ourselves, around our business, around why we started, around who we serve, and why we do it. And so, I just wanted to remind you guys of this. It's so, so, so powerful. Yet, as I was talking to the girls at lunch, I want to give you guys some space for this. Is that this work of even noticing what our thoughts are and what they're producing for us, okay, is hard. Yet it is also simple. So I want to give you permission to allow both things at the same time. Like usually it's like, no, it has to be this or it has to be this. But what if this is what sets leaders apart? This is why there's, not 100,000 emeralds. Okay. There was 350 on the trip, way more earned it, but there's about 350 on the trip. Because this work is both hard and simple. Okay, actually being aware of what your thought is that is creating the action or inaction you like or don't like is simple. But taking it captive and on purpose building a new victorious stronghold, I don't know if hard is the right word, but it takes work. It takes repetition. It takes consistent. Okay, Melody, I feel like you're like on the bridge of like wanting to say something. Is this true? You're like amen it over there because I don't want to hold anybody.
Yes, I do have something to say.
Yes, yes,
Can I
yes,
talk for a second?
yes.
Okay. I just first of all feel so encouraged on exactly what you're saying. I love the fact that, gosh, this is a place where we can grow and we're encouraged to do so. And I've just been so blown away by it. It's not just the company and Alec and Tarl. It's not just corporate. It's not just other diamonds. It's individually like we are cheering each other on and so excited to see each other grow. And that's such a beautiful place to be. And like you were saying, Jessica, like it's hard to do the work in some ways, to recognize your thoughts, to recognize what's repeating, and then to work on it. And just an area that I've really felt like, goodness, it's like God has given Plexus to me as an opportunity for me to grow. And I can specifically grow in a few areas that I'm working on. And that's fear of man for sure, fear of what they're saying to me, like literally have said to me. That's just been one that I've had to really work through. But you guys, it is my choice. I can do the hard work of working through the thoughts and working through what they've said or whatever. Like I have a choice. And choosing to grow in that and through that and to not let those thoughts hold me in a place, but to cast them off and just be like, yep, there's the thought again. Okay, moving on. Like, and honestly, just like journaling and bringing it to Jesus, like this is how I'm feeling. This is, this hard, whatever. But Jesus, please, like, help me cast it off because, yeah, like you're saying, Jessica, like we can be victorious because Jesus is victorious. Like, amen. Praise the Lord. Like, I'm so thankful. And I just love that we can be in that place and that, I guess just feeling the freedom, but it's a choice. Like we have to choose it. We have to keep choosing it to not stay captive in the thoughts. So that's kind of what I have to say as far as that.
Thank thank you. What was it? Someone was asking why I said why I held the book up. Sorry, is when you were talking. Someone in the comments said what was the name of the book again? Victorious Emotions. They talk about this in the podcast. This is the book that the host Taylor Welch says he read 6 times and saved his life. And you'll just hear if you haven't listened to it yet, you'll just know when you start listening to it, it'll be really, really incredibly powerful for you. But I want to give you guys, I just want to empower you to live a life of hope. Okay, to know the difference when you are believing believing any area of your life where you do not have glistening hope, you're believing a lie, which is so fascinating. So I want you to, so let's actually take a moment, because there also is so much power in imagination and visualization, because we replay over and over. You're already doing this, okay? So what I'm going to walk you through in just a moment is not something that you're not already doing. Okay, you are already in your mind over and over and over rehearsing the ways that you failed, rehearsing the ways that this hasn't worked out. You already are replaying those over and over and over. You're imagining, remember that when that one girl went fast start silver and then she quit. Remember when that girl who I thought was going to be diamond ghosted me after she ordered. Remember, like, you are replaying those all the time. I want you to notice you're already doing this. You're already meditating, okay? But here's what is what you are meditating on: producing a result that is victorious, producing a result that multiplies? Or is it producing a result that stifles growth and causes death? I mean, just to be blunt, like, causes you to be small, causes you to doubt, causes you to be discouraged, causes, look, I'm doing it again. Like, I just kept getting smaller. Like, I want you just to even notice your own thoughts and your own feelings. Are they causing your body to close and become small? Or are they causing you to multiply, to inspire, to speak with authority, to genuinely help people, to live a life of calling and purpose? Like, those are all beautiful, powerful words. Those are all victorious emotions. And so, anyways, I want to hear like what is coming up for any of you. If any of you want to get specific coaching, if any of you guys did get a chance to listen to the podcast, what came up for you for that? Tell me about it.
I'll share. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
It was perfect timing because this morning I was just on my way to the gym and I was just thinking, why is Ruby so elusive? Like, I feel like I get so close and then it goes away and I get so close. And I was sitting there thinking, I have the most runners I've ever had, like my entire years with Plexus. And I messaged Cassie Howard and I was like, girl, help me with this mindset because I can't figure it out where I get close. And then, because I have a runner and I actually asked her, have a lot of runners right now, but I actually asked this girl at church and I was like, you have just a beautiful heart. I feel like we're really aligned with healthy, crunchy things, all these things. I reached out to her. She joined. She's working the business and she loves it. Like, our hearts are aligned, everything. Like, we have this purpose that we want to help people just break through the things that are holding us back, right? Because sometimes you just can't live into your purpose when you feel cruddy. So, and now I feel myself like backing away from her. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Because I leaned into her and I got her started and now I feel myself retreating. And I'm like, why is that? And I listened to the podcast and I can't remember exactly what the words were. I was trying to find it before I hopped on here, but they said the exact thing that I needed to say, like I needed to hear. It was something like, I can't remember what it was, like what we were created for isn't necessarily what we believe about ourselves, or it was something along those lines. And I was like,
Oh, the apple tree thing.
it was that. And there was something else. And I think I screenshotted the time, but I wish I could go back.
I've listened 4 times and I keep getting new revelation. So keep listen again.
Well, it's interesting because I have had this podcast sent to me before and I resisted listening to it because I was like, it's 2 hours. I don't have time for that. And I was like, no, Jessica said to listen to it. So I'm going to listen to it today. So I'm listening to it all the time at the gym and on the way back. But that it just hit, she said something and I can't remember exactly what it is. I need to go back and listen. But it was exactly what it was that I was believing, maybe it was I was believing that it wasn't going to happen. So then I started like retreating. And so I don't know, it was just interesting. It was perfect timing today. It was like a big aha moment because I feel myself retreating from her. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Why am I not just leaning in and hitting Ruby? Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
So good. I have some questions for you. Okay. And notice if even you're making it mean I can only get to Ruby if this one girl does what she says she's
Yeah.
doing. And
Right.
so notice what that creates for you. And then notice what also, like, well, I'm actually on my way to senior ruby. And so who's the other next person I can help? Who else? Does that, you know what I'm saying? Like, notice when our thoughts are like, because that it's scarce to think, this is the one girl is the only way that I can get to Ruby, and we're so aligned, and I'm so scared if she's going to hurt me. But notice, like, I'm actually on the road to senior Ruby. I always like to think of myself at like a goal beyond the goal, because it gives you an even bigger vision. Like, you may not be able to picture, if you can picture diamond, I totally imagine picturing that, visualizing that, imagining that. But if that's not where you're at yet, at least picture senior Ruby, and just play with that, envision that, imagine that.
Okay.
Because then you won't be like, she's the only way. She's the only way. Because to get to senior Ruby and beyond, you're actually, it's going to be multiple people. And if when you know who you are and why you started in the first place, the belief will come then from those thoughts. The hard part is just being consistent with those thoughts. It actually is incredibly simple, because that will then attract what you believe. And you believe you have more people to still help. She's not the last one. She's not the only one.
Yeah. It's crazy because I really do have like workers now, which is what I prayed for. And now I feel like I don't know if it's because I'm closer. So now I'm backing off from it. It's weird. It's like my identity is to be senior gold for the rest of my life or something. I don't know. And now it's like, oh, I have to put on a new something, or I don't know. It's weird.
So healthy for you to notice when you're backing off. Okay, so that's so good. So I want to celebrate your progress of you even noticing that. Okay, most people don't notice it. They're just like, it isn't working. But you're like, wait, no, okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm noticing how I'm back off. So I want you to be so proud of yourself for being aware of that. And then you get to then choose, what is the victorious emotion? What is the victorious belief? What is it I want to run to? You get to choose, because oftentimes we're like, I don't know. We think we don't have options. And the only option is to go backwards. That's my only option. I'm like, okay, this is making me feel not so great. What actually am I thinking and believing right now that's causing me to feel that? And then choosing on purpose the stronghold of hope in the situation instead. Melody said, a thought I've been practicing is God has incredible lessons for my team. He's bringing them. I trust him and his plans. Okay, for my coaching clients, this is something I have them do every week. So I'm going to tell you guys the insight for this. Like, I have them fill out a weekend review every weekend. It's optional, but definitely the people who do it get better results than the people who don't. And a big piece of the weekend review is simply writing, what thoughts are you practicing on purpose this week? Simple. Get really clear about what you're practicing with rewiring your brain in, and write and think and speak that out loud each day. It actually is simple. What else? What else is coming up for somebody? Raise your hand or go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's Laura. Along that same vein that Amber was saying, I think the example that she gave was like so, it just made the words, and make sense. The example that she gave was like, she had a friend who had the willpower to quit smoking. Like, she knew that her friend wanted to quit smoking, but she couldn't. And it's like, because she couldn't imagine herself ever succeeding.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so I wrote, I can try to get to Ruby, but I mean, I tried to imagine myself on that Alaskan cruise. And then once I realized that this is not happening, it's just like, I let life get in the way, and I wasn't. And so then that was like, it was disappointing. It's like, my God, we had a whole year and it was like the trip of a lifetime. Why didn't I do the things to make that happen? And so then I was like mad at myself, and there's no room for that, because that just keeps you down, so, but I mean, it just circulates like that, right? And so it's like, okay, well, these little emerald jewels that I have on my desk, that wasn't enough. Me putting sticky notes on my computer that says, I'm so thankful to be Emerald wasn't enough. My changing all my passwords that's like Alaska trip 2025 wasn't enough. I mean, but it was still helpful because it did remind me all of the times of the day that it's like, okay, you're not doing anything to actually achieve that. So it was a constant reminder to me that it isn't going to happen without my very concerted effort and prayerful intentionality. And it was incredibly noticeable what I wasn't doing to get the job done. So anyway, I don't know. I veered off from what I was originally trying to say there, but I mean, you clearly struck a nerve. Last week obviously was very distracting with the world knowledge and then stalking all of you on the Alaska trip. I didn't get anything done last week besides scrolling Facebook and seeing what was going on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so good. And the gift in all of this, okay, it was always supposed to be this way because it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Because a lot of pain for ourselves, if like she can view the trip, and she may have, had both of these, okay. But somebody can view the trip and be like, I wasn't there. I suck. This will never work again. I tried. Or they can have, man, it stings that I was not there. I'm
Yeah.
happy for people that are there. This truly stings. How can I be victorious? And because it all starts with us, lead yourself first and others will follow. How can I do the hard and simple work of being victorious in my beliefs about my plexus business and my beliefs about my identity and my beliefs about my purpose? And the rest will follow from that. But you reminded me that of something we're going to do in just a second, because the imagine part is very, 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 very real. First, I want to tell you a little bit of Angie's breakthrough. Angie was at lunch with us as well. And one of the breakthroughs we got to discuss is because she gets a lot of level ones every month. She gets a lot. She's always on a leaderboard, always getting a lot. But she was noticing, or she just had a little bit of a fear about some duplication, which is so relatable. Oh my goodness. So many of us do. We're like, people aren't going silver, no matter if you're a top enroller or not. I feel like that is such a relatable fear. And so that's why I wanted to bring that up. What was so interesting for her to discover was she had a fear. She wanted people to sign up so bad that she was having a fear that if she talked about the business before they signed up, they wouldn't sign up. And so she wasn't talking about the business until after they had signed up or later down the road. And she had this aha that we actually helped her to see that you are actually insulting people by not inviting them to earn $300. And she had never viewed it that way. She didn't think, because all she viewed was like, her fear was overriding of like, but if I bring that up, they may not order and I want them to order. Okay. Instead of realizing, okay, well, maybe all of these people aren't duplicating because I'm insulting them and not even believing. I obviously don't believe that they will go silver, because if I believed they would go silver, I would tell them that they could earn $300. I would tell them how simple this is. And so do you see, like, even us diamonds like still deal with this head trash. That's not something you outgrow when you get a certain rank. It's not something you outgrow once you've been in this business at X amount of years. There's always a new and beautiful layer. But the gift in this is you always get to discover, okay, if you're like a top enroller, we don't have much duplication, you can be like, plexus doesn't work, or you can be like, interesting. I'm a top enroller, but I'm not experiencing top duplication. So what is a thought or a feeling that is keeping me from this? Or you may have, great duplication, but you're not a very good recruiter. And so what is the thought that you have or belief you have about recruiting or bringing in new people or expanding your network? It's always an invitation. And so numbers, like looking at your numbers, actually can be so, as uncomfortable as it may be sometimes. I mean, I want to invite you, I've done this before, but we're going to do it right now. In the last 3 months, go do your own stats. How many new level ones have you had in the last 3 months? How many new silvers have you had in the last 3 months? What's one more thing I want you to track is look at your retention for the last 3 months. Okay. Those are just really good gauges of health of a system. Okay, if you don't know those numbers, you can't change anything. Okay, or you're like, they all suck. Have a starting base of what that is, where you are. There's no shame in it. It is just the awareness of a starting line, awareness of where to start with your victorious emotions and your victorious future in this business, but also in your life and all. I mean, you need to take victorious emotions when it comes to your parenting, when it comes to your friendships, when it comes to your marriage. Like there are ways that you can be more victorious in how you are thinking. But let's spend a few moments imagining something, and then we're going to get off soon. But one of the questions they wrote in the training was, do you believe your story, your business can change in 90 days? Because sometimes it gets so overwhelming. You're like, I want to be diamond. I want to be this. What is it? Like, can we focus in on the next 90 days? Can we go back to the simplicity of the 90-day rule? Can we go back to the simplicity of, okay, I have become aware today of a thought that is really crummy. It is really a defeating thought, a hopeless thought. I can now see that this is creating inactions or actions in me that aren't victorious, that aren't providing growth in my business and in my life. So we're gonna imagine this in a moment, but I want you to really think, what would it feel like to actually believe? Can we capitalize the word believe? Your business can be in a different place in 90 days. Your belief can be in a different place in 90 days. Your vision can be in a different place in 90 days. And you may help 100 people, but you can help one person duplicate and really run with them and really help them get things running. Like, sometimes it's like, make your world smaller and it will start to get bigger, but you've got to make it smaller. Okay, so in 90-day chunks. So we're going to practice some imagination right now. Okay, like we're all going to close our eyes right now, because this lady couldn't quit smoking because she couldn't ever imagine herself doing it. And I'm going to give you the opportunity and the invitation to allow yourself to imagine something new. Okay, so close your eyes, not if you're driving, but close your eyes if you're here. I want you to take 3 deep breaths in your nose, out your mouth. I love to, when I do this, imagine inviting the Holy Spirit. It's the literal breath of God in, exhaling out any toxins, any old thoughts, I literally just imagine breathing in life and breathing out waste, breathing in new, breathing out the old. So just do that for a few moments, and I'm just going to walk you through some things to visualize. Let's see, today is September, October. Okay, 90 days from now is December 16th. It's Christmas time. I want you to imagine, if you decorate for Christmas, being, I don't know, your favorite Christmassy spot or December spot. Maybe you've got some calming cocoa in a warm mug. Maybe you're snuggling on the couch, watching a Christmas movie. Maybe you're decorating the tree. Maybe you're, I don't know. You imagine something that brings you joy. And December 16th, what your life would feel and look like to be in a place of joy, to be in a place of growth, to be in a place of peace because you have been victorious with your thoughts. Imagine new runners on your team. Imagine new life on your team. Imagine rebirth on your team. Imagine you showing up daily with purpose. Imagine you feeling the feeling of accomplishment, that you're doing work that matters. You're interacting with people and it's making a difference. What does that feel like in your body to make that post and have that feeling? It doesn't matter what the naysayers say. I know this is true and I know this helps people. What does that feel like? What does it feel like to earn leaders retreat well before Christmas? to know that in December, just 2 months later, you and a loved one will be going to Cancun to an all-inclusive because you are doing and sharing and making a difference in this world. And you get rewarded stinking amazingly for it. I mean, Cancun in February. Now I want you to imagine Cancun in February. We're going there now. Because of the next 90 days, you've earned Cancun. So we're already there now. I want you to imagine the sand in your toes. I want you to imagine either the sunrise or the sunset, which if you're morning or evening person. I want you to walk up and down the beach and feel the waves come up and hit your ankles as you're taking a walk with your Plexus bestie. You're talking about how amazing Plexus is, talking about how grateful you are that God sent Plexus to your life. You're actually walking along the beach with another teammate from your team who earned the trip as well. And I want you to imagine what that feels like, having someone else from your team there. I want you to think about, you're in February in Cancun. Think about coming back to this day and making a powerful decision, a kind decision towards yourself to do the hard and simple work, to take your thoughts captive, to be victorious on purpose. How proud you are of yourself as a leader who took their thoughts captive, who led themselves first. And because of this being who they are, their very example inspired others to rise up and be victorious too. You're not comparing how many people this person has on the trip or how many people this person has at this rank. You're just proud of what God has called you to do. Imagine putting before the Lord this offering, this victorious thoughts is literally an offering that only God can multiply. You're bringing before him victory and obedience and the work of taking your thoughts captive, and he's multiplying it. And he's making it easier. He's making it simpler. He's making it funner. What if this was funner than you thought? So Lord, we just bless them. It's just a simple 5 minutes they just experienced of imagining with you, of visualizing with you, of being on the offense with their thoughts, because it's the most powerful tool. It's why even in the armor of God in Ephesians 5, it just talks about even putting on the helmet and the shield to block off the flaming arrows of the enemy, which I believe are thoughts that he tricks you into trying to think and believe about you that keep you small. And the armor of God provides that shield. It provides that helmet. So I bless them with that. I bless them with their imagination. I bless them with their thoughts. I bless them with grace as they become more aware of what their thoughts are and what they've created for them. I pray against any shame. I just pray hope into them. I pray a hopeful future for them, hope for their business. I pray multiplication for them. I pray for their influence over their selves. But I just pray that your love infuses their life and that is experienced by others. Amen. I didn't know that was a prayer, but you could open your eyes. You see how prayers can look different than you think they are. So beautiful. I would love, I'm willing to stay on for 10 more minutes. You guys, here, I wrote down, I'm just going to tell you a couple more quotes that I wrote down from this training, and then raise your hand or put in the comments if you want to be coached. Your business can be in a completely different place in 90 days. Go ahead and decide that it will. Go and find one person that is hungry and coachable and willing to grow. They later on talked about how character is so important in this business, because character is follow through long after the feelings have passed. So I want you to remember today the feelings of what you imagined, the feelings of powerfully deciding that your business can be in a different place in 90 days. And I want you to remember your character follows through on things when this exciting feeling goes away, because they go back to the victorious emotions on purpose. And then she told this one story, and I think she listened to a sermon by Craig Rochelle or something. And the takeaway was, he said this about things being figure outable or growth or whatever. He said, quit whining. You're sharp. Fix it. And so if you looked at anything in your life that just aligns with this in a funny way, like this is a victorious way to think about life. Quit whining. You're sharp. Fix it. And may you remember that and believe that. Notice when your thoughts are wandering. You can call that whining. We all experience them, even me. But snap yourself. Quit whining. Fix it. Quit whining. You're sharp. Okay, because you're sharp, you're smart, and go and fix it. Laura, go ahead. She said you had another favorite thought.
Okay, one of the very first thing, I was listening to this while I was doing other things, and I had listened to the beginning before, and then I realized, oh my gosh, it is 2 hours. I can't devote that to this. So, but I re-listened to it again, and so the first thing that I wrote down, somewhere in the middle of this podcast, she said, if they aren't important to you, to your future, if they are important to your future, they will like you. So she was talking about just, and this is like, I'm kind of a lot to handle. I don't talk in an empathy way. I'm just like very matter of fact. It's not that I don't love your situation or people in general, that sort of thing. It's just that I'm just kind of a lot to handle, I'm just too matter of fact. But anyway, so I run across this all the time. It's like, I do not have like a large circle of people. And I think I'm just too blunt, or, something to that effect. But when she said that, it was like, she's like, if they are important to your future, they will like you. So then it doesn't matter what you're saying. It's like the people will hear what they need to hear. And if they don't, then they're not your people.
And how does that make you feel, Laura?
Well, I mean, thank God, because, just can't please everyone. And at the same time, it's too hard when you're around people that are never going to get you. You know what I'm saying? That's not comfortable anyway.
But how does it feel? Does it feel what?
Well, I guess it doesn't feel as bad as it did before, because I mean, like.
So if it doesn't feel bad, it feels what?
Yeah, it feels better. It feels, accepting. It feels
good,
more freeing. That's something that you say all the time. That's exactly what it feels like. It definitely feels a little bit more freeing. It's like, I'm literally just trying to find my people.
And how often do you imagine feeling the feeling of free and good, Laura?
Not too often, because I'm usually feeling a little bit more disheveled, and it's like there's way too many plates going on, just trying to get something to feel good that I'm doing. Yes. Yeah.
Hard and simple work for Laura is literally imagining and allowing your body to feel the feeling of good and feel the feeling of free.
Yeah.
You couldn't even say the word. It was very interesting. You kept saying,
yeah, right. Because I normally don't really think about emotions. I'm just doing the things, and I don't really put a lot of thought into that, but it's important, and you're right to force the word out of me. Remember, it's the second time I brought up last week's events, but it's a whole lot easier to find your people right now. And I think that is important, right? Because I want to know where people stand, and if you're not standing in the same way, I literally don't need to spend any more time there.
Yeah. And I
It's like a square peg in a round hole. I'm not interested in that. That's too hard.
just wanted you to notice, because you've been on default for a long time, just from what you said, like, I'm too
For
much,
sure.
I'm too loud. Like, those thoughts have been playing for a very long time, and you've made them mean something about you. Like, you get to attach what it means to you, and it sounds like it hasn't been a good feeling. And so I really believe a big part of the work in the simplicity of this for you, Laura, is believing you are good, believing feeling good is okay for you, believing feeling free, like practice, like, and then like, I'm imagining what comes out of you business wise when you actually feel good about yourself, when you actually feel free to be you, and what that is going to emulate and what that's going to attract for you feels really exciting to me.
Yes, I need to bottle that up and remember it. Thank you.
Mhm. And don't have to remember it, you have to feel it. I can only speak to this because I was the same way. I always feel like I gotta write this down so I don't forget it. But when you feel something in your body, you'll never forget it. But if we keep operating from our head, yeah, there's too much stuff in there, we're gonna forget it. But if we operate from here, you'll never forget that. So good, you guys. So much grace for even experiencing, I'm not too much, I'm not bad. My whole life I believe that, and that will always be a whisper. I mean, we all have variation of that. I'm too much, or I'm not enough, or and so just to even notice that whisper from the enemy is not a victorious thought or an emotion. And notice how we always, and to be aware of, we're always going to find proof for what we believe. And so if our core belief, our core whisper is I'm not enough, you'll find what you're looking for. You'll find proof for it everywhere. But is that a victorious way that Jesus speaks over you? Is that because that's what we want to build a stronghold around. That's what we want to repeat. That's what we want to find proof of. So beautiful. Anybody else? You guys are so awesome. I can't wait to see you all in Cancun. As I always want to teach you guys, is awesome. This is great. Whatever you learned or took away today, great. But a true leader will always go and rise somebody else up to something they have immediately learned. So either you go and share a fear with your team, or you ask them some of the questions that I've asked you today. You help them envision or visualize things. You help them share the podcast with them and discuss it with them. Like, this is never it's beautiful to have a leaders network and a leaders community, and you guys, we're friends and we feel safe and we spend more time with each other. But these are always to go and rise up somebody else. Who you are is how you lead. So take something that affected you today and go lead in a new and powerful and victorious way to someone else. Amen. Okay, well, I'm gonna go help my daughter with her 6 days of homework she has from going on an Alaskan cruise, which was worth every second of it. But we've got some catch up stuff to do. So I bless you. I bless you with Victoria's emotions. I bless you to go listen to that podcast 10 more times. Go on walk, multitask, do it while you drive. Listen to it one time through. Let's do it again at 2 times speed. I don't care. Like, you will get a fresh revelation every time. And I really encourage you. It's not a big book. Victorious emotions, to add this into, because this is the work of a leader in business and in spiritual and emotional health. Like, the work is having victorious emotions and living from a victorious way. Because the enemy wants to make you small. Just remember, if you're feeling small, if things are looking small, like, small is not multiplying. Small is just notice and praise yourself for even when you notice. Okay. Okay, go out there. It's double BBBs. Like, this is a huge deal. Repeat, repeat, repeat. I just got a $44 text today because I signed somebody up yesterday. Like, that's so $44. Like, this is some serious money people can be making. Inspire your team that right now's business building bonuses. Put that away for their cruise to pay for their pay for their flight to Cancun. Like, help them plan ahead. Help them envision that they're already going to earn it. Put a little cash back to pay for that flight, so it's never going to be a burden to you. It's all about abundance. It's all about the future. It's all about expanding. It's all about making powerful decisions now. Bye, guys.